from Reliant Stadium. The retractable roof closed today. It's going to be a loud afternoon as the Bengals take on the Texans to get the NFL playoffs underway. An emotional moment before the team ran out. Bum Phillips walking through the tunnel, the former Houston Oilers coach from 75 to 80, and a local favorite, doffing his cowboy hat, his trademark, to the fans here at Houston. We mentioned earlier Andre Johnson missed 9 games with injury. Back in the lineup here for the Texans today. And with more on that, let's go to Alex Flanagan.
Hey, Tom. Well, Andre Johnson said that on Tuesday it finally sunk in. For the first time in his 9-year NFL career, he didn't have to empty out his locker yet. Missed a number of games this season because of hamstring injuries, and told me that at one point this season he thought his football career might be over because of those injuries. But his teammates kept pushing him on, told him that if he could get healthy for the playoffs, they would get him here. Well, here they are today, Tom, and Andre Johnson tells me he's full speed and ready to go.
Andre out there for the coin flip, as you saw. In fact, Andre is one of 39 players for the Houston Texans in their first postseason game here today. Gary Kubiak coaching his first playoff game. He's in his 6th season as the Houston Texans head coach. Of course, he experienced a lot of playoff games with the Denver Broncos when he was an assistant coach. And Marvin Lewis of Cincinnati, 0-2 in the playoffs, looking for his first playoff victory. He is in his 9th season as the head coach, the longest tenured head coach in Cincinnati Bengals history. DJ Yates, Taylor Jonathan Yates, the rookie from North Carolina. And Andy Dalton, it's a homecoming for Andy Dalton, the rookie quarterback of the Bengals from the Houston area, from Katy, Texas. In fact, this is his 4th game in this stadium as he awaits his call to the field.
He's actually 3-0 in this stadium, 2 in high school, and I did the Texas Bowl game. He played as a freshman at TCU against the University of Houston.
Cincinnati won the toss and will defer, so the Texans will get the ball to start the game. Andre Johnson, those butterflies, he's like a caged tiger over there, just pacing back and forth, awaiting his first playoff action in his 9-year career.
Tom, we've got the roof closed today, so it's going to get awfully loud. Advantage Houston when they're on defense.
Normally it's so warm in Houston they'd have that roof open, but they've got it closed today, and that noise is reverberating throughout Reliant Stadium.
I talked to a couple Cincinnati coaches, and they said they would do the same thing for the tactical advantage if they had it.
Nugent has it teed off, kicked off, and the playoffs are underway. Deep into the end zone, and Manning will down it there for the touchback. So here's the starting offensive lineup for the Houston Texans.
TJ Yates, University of North Carolina.
Arian Foster, University of Tennessee.
Miles Vickers, University of Colorado.
Andre Johnson, the U.
Kevin Walter, Eastern Michigan.
Owen Daniels, on Wisconsin.
Dwayne Brown, Johnson Elementary, Richmond, Virginia.
Wade Smith, Wallace Elementary, Dallas, Texas.
Chris Myers, Howard Drive Elementary.
Mike Brazel, Colorado State.
Eric Winston, Bonham Elementary.
Offensive line decided to get their elementary school, except Brazel, who got a fine for saying Colorado State. Here's Arian Foster.
Almost fumbled the football. Had some late season issues with that. They're a run-first team. Right there, ball's in the air. Tom, we can't give him a reception for that, but it's just as important.
Came right back to him, luckily for Foster, who gained 1,224 yards, averaging 4.4 a carry this season, after last year leading the NFL in rushing with over 1,600 yards. Second down, flag down will stop the play before it begins. Cleet Blakeman is the referee today.
Start. Offense, number 23. 5-yard penalty, still second down.
So Arian Foster called for the false start. Here's the starting defensive lineup for the Bengals.
Robert Geathers, Georgia. Domata Peko, Michigan State University.
Gino Ekin, all about the G, go dog.
Frosty Rucker, USC.
Manny Lawson, Eastern Wayne High School.
Ray Maulunga,
The University of Southern California.
T. Howell, UTEP, Lubbock, Texas.
Nate Clements, The Ohio State University.
Christopher Crocker, Marshall University.
And a handoff to Ben Tate, who has replaced Foster in the backfield. Tackled by Thomas Howard. Stopped short of the first down, about the 25-yard line. So as you said, run first for Houston, but actually that running game leads to lots of other stuff for them, doesn't it?
Yeah, Tom, they've thrown the ball 546 times. That's tied with Denver for the most, but I also think they're the most efficient play action team in the league.
3 wide receivers here in on 3rd down. On 3rd and 5 from the shotgun. Yates, first pass too high over the head of Andre Johnson, who would have had the first down, it appeared. And you got to think that Yates has some butterflies.
I think Yates and Foster have some butterflies. Foster on the first one, fumble, then he's offsides. Yates on a simple little crossing route overthrows it. I think we're seeing some real butterflies on the Houston side right now.
So Brandon Tate, who returns both punts and kickoffs for the Bengals, is deep as Matt Turk, 43 years old and the oldest player in the NFL, sends it on its way. Tate from the 19, looking for a block, nothing there, as he takes it to about the 26-yard line, where the Bengals and Andy Dalton will get their first chance to possess the football. 56-yard punt. Tate returned at 7, and here's Andy Dalton, a mix of cheers and boos as the former Katy High School and TCU player gets his first snap.
Come on, how cool is that? That you're coming back in your rookie year, a half an hour from where you grew up, in the stadium that you used to hang out in. Are you kidding me?
And about 35 of those people in the stands have tickets from Andy today. First down play. Pitch, Cedric Benson. Out of bounds. And here's a look at the offensive starting lineup for the Bengals.
Andy Dalton, TCU. Cedric Benson, the University of Texas.
Chris Presley, University of Wisconsin.
Jerome Simpson, Reedsville Senior High. AJ Green, University of Georgia.
Jermaine Gresham, the University of Oklahoma. Andrew Whitworth, LSU National Champs.
Nate Livens, National Champions, LSU.
Kyle Cook, Michigan State University.
Mike McGlynn, Pitt.
Andre Smith, Rolls High.
And 2nd and 8 now for the Bengals. From the eye, play action fake and the pass complete. A.J. Green latches onto it. Dalton's first pass is complete, but short of the first down. It's going to bring up 3rd.
By Dalton identifying one-on-one to the outside. This is the matchup of the day. Jonathan Joseph, who used to be a Bengal, on the all-pro rookie wide receiver A.J. Green. And Tom, what they want to do is keep Dalton in 3rd and manageable situations, which is exactly what this is.
3rd and 2. From the shotgun. Brian Leonard and Cedric Benson flanking Dalton. Andy Dalton had man wide open, missed him. It was Benson. Wow. Well, are we talking about butterflies on that side as well?
Yeah, I think it's natural, and this should have been a big play. It's a little pick play where Gresham picks the man, and you can see it's a little bit high, but Benson should come up with that.
So 4th down, Kevin. Numbers on Huber, averaging 44.2, the Cincinnati native. Good boot, high and deep. Jones did not call fair catch, dodged the first man, but not the 2nd and 3rd as he goes down around the 12-yard line. He only got a 1-yard return after the punt boomed 55. So 3 and out, first possession, both teams. Now that's a look at Good Company Barbecue, one of Houston's finest barbecue restaurants. The Good Family's restaurants making their Texas comfort food from scratch for over 30 years.
Tom, I really think this is the key to the whole game for both teams. First down, Houston's got the highest first down average at 6.6 in the entire league. Cincinnati's got to calm that down and force that young quarterback into 3rd and long.
Play action fake, and T.J. Yates has his man across the 30 to the 34-yard line. Andre Johnson's first playoff reception, tackled by Reggie Nelson, a gain of 21.
This is who they are. Play action here, and then a deep over here. Watch the linebackers react up right there to the play action. That creates separation. Really good job by Johnson sitting it down, and there's the view from T.J. Yates. In the hole between the second and the third level, that's vintage Houston Texans football.
Initial first down of the game. Yates tried to fake, had to scramble, then tossed it incomplete through the hands of Owen Daniels.
Move. Nate Clemens does a great job on the double move here by Walter. There it is, slant and go. They call that a sluggo. Clemens didn't bite, and that put our young quarterback in a bit of a bind.
So second down and 10 for the Texans. In the eye this time. Foster's the tailback.
Shifted to put a big body on the center. Geno Atkins on the center.
Handed off to Foster. And Foster stopped for a loss on the play. That's a loss of 2 on the carry by Arian Foster, and give Geno Atkins credit for the stop.
Yeah, right here on the nose. Watch how quickly he beats a quick center. Good hands, overpowers him right into the running back. Geno Atkins, for me, second-year player out of Georgia, was just named, Tom, a second-team All-AP guy. He has 7.5 sacks. I think he's one of the most gifted interior pass rushers, and you just saw how much he played with leverage in the run game.
Second-team All-Pro who pushed center Chris Myers back into Foster. So it's third down and long. Yates, good protection. The pass, though, batted down at the line of scrimmage. Fanene got a hand on it to knock it down.
They can really come off the edges in third and long. Good job here stepping up into the pocket. Look at 68 Fanene jumping against Chris Myers right here. Remember, if you can't get to the quarterback, Tom, what do?
You jump up and knock it down.
We elevate, we go get that thing, right? Good job on the vision by the defensive tackle.
So Yates picked up a first down, but then the drive stalls, and another punt from Matt Turk. Tate fields it at the 17 and swamped as he crosses the 25-yard line. 51-yard punt, only 6 on the return. Bengals turn. We come back. It's been a long dry spell for Houston, the city of Houston, to host a playoff game. The last one in the old Astrodome 17 years plus ago. There have been 190 playoff games since then. 4 teams joined the league, including the Texans, since then. And 20 stadiums have been built, including this one, since Houston last hosted a playoff game. The old Astrodome sitting right next to Reliant Stadium. Who thought the Astrodome would ever be dwarfed by another stadium, but you saw that it was by Reliant. Handoff to Cedric Benson. That's a couple of yards only.
And you know what, Tom? I thought it was really cool when Bum Phillips came out, was introduced to the crowd. The place went nuts. And how cool is it? The dad coached in the stadium right next door, and here his son is in an NFL playoff game as a defensive coordinator. I just love the symmetry of the whole thing.
And we talked about some costly injuries for Houston this year. One of them, too, was Wade Phillips, the defensive coordinator who missed a couple of games on medical leave. Is back now. Said he's trying to regain his energy, but he is back directing the defense of the Texans. And it's 2nd and 8 for the Bengals. Play action fake. Dalton rolls one way, heaves way downfield, and it is incomplete. There's a flag down.
Yep.
Intended for A.J. Green, defended by Glover Quinn.
Really like the play calling sequence there from Jay Gruden. That play action which set up the pass interference, Glover Quinn getting late, and that little one-man screen. I think Jay Gruden has been the key so far with what they've done offensively.
Nugent to kick it to Manning. and sees it go out of the end zone for the touchback as we check in with Alex.
Well, Tom, TJ Yates getting ready for his third offensive series. Has a lot of people giving him advice around him. You watch him on the sidelines. You see him there. It's surrounded by 4 quarterbacks. Jeff Garcia, Matt Leinart, Matt Schaub, and Jake Delhomme there. But you see Greg Knapp in the middle. He's the singular voice. All the other guys are telling stuff to Greg Knapp, who then feeds it to the rookie TJ Yates.
He said he's been like a sponge trying to absorb it all, but they have to be careful not to tell him too much during a game.
Yeah, what do the kids call it? TMI? Too much information, right?
Vickers resets as the handoff goes to Arian Foster. Foster's been unable to get untracked so far in this game.
One adjustment I've seen already in today's game. Remember, these two teams played back in week 14. Cincinnati is an even line. That means nobody over the center. Center is uncovered. Remember how quick Chris Myers is. What are they doing today? Big body, Pecco on him to try and slow him down. The recipient, Ray Malaluga, who should be able to get to the football.
Foster goes the other way. Stacked up at the line. Reversed his field and got a big gain, a first down as he is to the 44-yard line, chased out by Pac-Man Jones. A gain of 19 yards.
Yeah, they're going to lose backside contain. This triangle right here is responsible for backside contain. Good job by Foster cutting back. Pac-Man Jones, the corner, loses contain. And there's Pecco right on the head, trying to destroy the integrity of Chris Myers. That's going to be a difficult matchup for Myers, but give the tailback, Foster, tremendous credit for making that cut.
Play action fake, and Yates looking downfield. Protection good. The pass on target to Owen Daniels, who makes a catch in traffic. There's a flag down.
I loved how Owen Daniels sat the route down, and what an accurate throw by TJ Yates. They're going to get Reggie Nelson, I think, for hitting a defenseless receiver. Remember, once he catches the football, he's got to have time to become a runner.
You see Clete Blakeman and his crew huddling up as Marvin Lewis watches the action. The gain was 21 on the pass to Daniels, one of the favorite targets of TJ Yates.
Going on the play, it is a completed pass. Personal foul, unnecessary roughness defense. Hit to the head or neck area of a defenseless player. That penalty will be added to the end of the run. Automatic first down.
Now, remember, first of all, you have to be a defenseless player, which Owen Daniels, at this point, he catches the football, he's still defenseless. Second, prohibited contact includes contact to the head or neck area with your helmet, your face mask, your shoulder, or your forearm. Obviously, Tom, correct call.
So Reggie Nelson called, and it puts the ball at the 20-yard line. First down for the Texans, and Foster plowing up the middle is inside the 15, down to about the 13-yard line.
One of the key acquisitions in the offseason was left guard Wade Smith. Watch him come down on the tilt nose here. They pull the guard Brizell. They pull 81, the tight end, through Owen Daniels. That's really good teamwork. And again, the football is loose twice from Arian Foster. Tom, he is so fortunate he's come up with both of his fumbles.
He was really lucky there to get it back. Here he is again, dancing his way through a hole at the line of scrimmage for a short gain. It is enough, however, for the first down.
Now, one of the offensive weaknesses of both these teams has been red zone offense. Houston's red zone offense, number 25 in the league. Not good. They only score touchdowns 47% of the time. This is where field goals hurt you. You got to put 7 on the board. Got a one-on-one down here.
Handoff to Foster for the end zone. Touchdown.
This is an outside zone. Watch Dwayne Brown get the reach block right here. Key block to this play. Now, they feel like he might have held him there, but it was not called. That's called an offensive lineman setting an edge. And here we are at the end of the play. Let's see the foot and the football. He hits the pylon. That's a touchdown.
So Foster headed to the Pro Bowl for the second consecutive year. The former Tennessee Vol in his third season just scoots into the corner of the end zone. He's averaging nearly 7 yards a carry here in the first quarter. And Pac-Man Jones getting a talk over on the bench as Rackers, the veteran Neil Rackers, boots it through. So Foster's touchdown matches Benson's earlier. It's 7-7 in the wild card. Arian Foster, as we said, back to the Pro Bowl this year after he led the league in rushing last year, over 1,600 yards. Not quite as good this year with 1,200, but back to the Pro Bowl again. The undrafted player from Tennessee. Rackers with a kickoff to Brandon Tate, who down it in the end zone. Well, we said Andy Dalton is from nearby Katy, Texas. Went to Katy High School, which is about 30 miles due west of Houston. He's the latest in a proud lineage of great football players that Katy has produced. Dalton went on to play his college ball at Texas Christian. In fact, he's 3-0 at Reliant Stadium. He won 2 high school games here as well as a bowl game in college at Reliant Stadium.
I was teasing him the other day because he lost his high school state championship game to South Lake Carroll. Their quarterback was Greg McElroy of the New York Jets. He didn't like me bringing up that he had 4 interceptions in that game either.
Fumbles the snap. And it looks like Dalton was able to fall on it.
And that's inexcusable. So far, we've got 2 fumbles by Arian Foster and a fumbled snap between Kyle Cook. Now, that ball was snapped before Dalton was ready. Let's take a look at that real quickly again. Watch Dalton's head. Dalton was not ready for that snap. He was not paying attention. He was looking at the motion. Kyle Cook snapped that way before he was ready.
2nd down and 10. Dalton retreats, whips it out, and it's caught by Jerome Simpson. First catch by Simpson, who had 50 during the regular season.
Jason Allen had great coverage here. If he would just trust it and break. Look at him, he's hip to hip. Now break on the football. What are you waiting for? Jason Allen, a former first-round pick of the Miami Dolphins, has had a good season with 4 interceptions playing in their dime package.
Good for 8 yards, setting up a 3rd down and 2.
Interesting matchup down on the bottom of the screen, right here. 1-on-1, your best receiver against their best corner.
Instead, a handoff to Scott, and Bernard Scott just crosses the 30-yard line to pick up the 1st down. So 1st down, Cincinnati. Glover Quinn able to make the hit, but not until Scott, who is the speedier of the backs, along with Benson for Cincinnati.
Yeah, when Scott's in the game, it's a little different kind of package. They want to get him outside in space because he's a little bit quicker and better athlete than Benson.
Scott and Presley in the backfield along with Dalton from the shotgun on 1st down.
Have not heard from Gresham yet all day long. I think he's an all-pro type tight end.
Pass caught by Green, and A.J. Green out of bounds at the 40-yard line, pushed out by Jonathan Joseph. 9-yard gain on 1st down, and there's that critical 1st down that you mentioned would be important for both teams today. 9 yards puts you in good shape.
Look at the guard here, Tom. It's so loud in here. The guard is going to tap the center to let him know when to snap the football. It allows the center to keep his eyes open in the pass protection scheme, and then the guard tells him. And obviously Dalton can't even hear the signals from the sideline.
Yeah, Andy trying to cover up to hear the call come in.
They've got to get Gresham involved in this offense.
Hand off to Scott. Thrown back. And it'll be close to the 1st down. See where they spot the football.
Tom, when you talk to defensive coordinators around the league about stopping this offense, they basically say, number one, you got to stop the run. Little ghost motion there. 2nd and short. Good job up front by D'Amico Ryans with the initial hit. But number one, you got to stop the run. You've got to be concerned about play action, but first and foremost, you got to know where number 89 lines up every time and where number 18 lines up. Excuse me, 84 and 18.
Jay Gruden talking to Dalton as they measure for the first down. It is enough by half the length of the football for a first down. Cincinnati. Jonathan Joseph matched up with A.J. Green all day. We understand out of the game now. And now he's coming back in. So he was out for only a play or two. And now back on the field. Going to the Pro Bowl this year in his 6th season from South Carolina. The former Bengal who signed as a free agent with Houston in the offseason.
I really like the mutual respect between him and his former defensive coordinator, Mike Zimmer.
There was none of that bad-mouthing the former team because they didn't re-sign you. He was very complimentary and said, here in Houston, it's a brotherhood just like it was in Cincinnati. First down for Dalton and company. Flag down. Stops the play.
False start. Offense, number 84. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
You couldn't really hear the call.
And I didn't see any movement either.
It was 84, so it was Gresham. I heard the false start part, but I couldn't hear the number. But it was Gresham called for the false start. It comes with 1:45 and counting in this opening quarter.
Wade Phillips up in the booth. Tom, you referenced he had some illness a couple of weeks ago, was not able to coach.
Dalton's pass to the 40-yard line. That's in the penalty back at least to Ryan Whalen.
And this is one of Jay Gruden's favorite things. A little tight bunch down here. Watch, Whalen's just going to come right out of the tight bunch. Really good reaction by the defensive back, Allen. And when it's 1st and 15, you'll give up those 4 yards all day long.
Jay Gruden, as you mentioned, paid his dues. The brother of John Gruden was one of his assistants in Tampa Bay for a while. Was a quarterback at the University of Louisville and in the Arena League. And mentioned now as a head coaching possibility at some places, notably Jacksonville. Dalton's pass to a wide open Scott. And Scott will be stopped just short of the first down by Jason Allen.
Love Dalton's composure. Nothing really seems to get to Andy Dalton. There's the tap telling Kyle Cook it's okay to snap the football. Good pressure from the left side. He just steps up a little bit, checks it down. And I said in the open, he takes care of the football and he doesn't take bad sacks. And in the playoff, where everything's magnified, those are two huge traits.
Final seconds of the first quarter, 3rd down and 3 for Cincinnati.
Number 16's their gadget guy, Hawkins.
From the shotgun, Dalton rolls right, delivers the pass, caught. First down, Cincinnati. A.J. Green on the final play of the first quarter. Run out of bounds by Jonathan Joseph. So Cincinnati 3 for 3 on 3rd down conversions this drive. And at the end of the first quarter, it's Houston and Cincinnati tied at 7. Wild card playoffs continue after these messages. The commissioner is here today, Roger Goodell, in attendance at this wild card game as the playoffs return to Houston. Cincinnati on first down. Andy Dalton's pass complete to Green. Pretty hard to stop that as Green on the slant, defended by Joseph, but good for a 20-yard completion.
Now they're going to go to a single high safety. That means here and here he knows pre-snap he's got one-on-one. Great job, play action. His best receiver beats Joseph off the line, and it's the job of the wide receiver to win inside. It's the job of the quarterback to beat the free safety. Both Bengals do their jobs. Big play.
Results in a first down. Dalton has hit 7 in a row. Here's the handoff to Scott. And for more on Andy Dalton, let's check in with Alex.
Well, Tom, the one thing that you hear consistently from Bengals players and coaches about the rookie Andy Dalton is that he is confident and his demeanor is really consistent. The guy rarely gets rattled. In fact, backup quarterback Bruce Gradkowski and Jeff Garcia, who's the backup on the Houston Texans, were comparing notes earlier about their two rookie quarterbacks, saying that they're both kind of laid back. They wish they could get them a little hyped up and rattled a little bit more.
Marvin Lewis first took notice of Dalton when he was coach at the Senior Bowl, and it prompted him to look at a lot of tape as Dalton winds up, and this one is batted down incomplete. And Lewis says it was Jamison, Tim Jamison knocked it down. Lewis said the more tape they watched, the more they couldn't see a reason not to draft him, because they knew that they were going to draft a rookie to be the starting quarterback with Carson Palmer gone, so you better not make a mistake. They went to TCU to visit with him. Jay Gruden went as well. They hit it off from the outset, and the more they looked at it, the more they knew they had to have him. Then the trick was to get both Green and Dalton. They said they were counting on both of them to be as good as they have been, and they have delivered, the two rookies. Here's Dalton in the pocket, stands tall, and manages for a moment to escape, and then is sacked. Back at the 35-yard line by Brooks Reed, the rookie from Arizona.
Yeah, but the guy that makes the play is Antonio Smith, number 94. Who he wants is right here. Real good job on Gresham down the middle. Here's a little X stunt. Look at him come around. There's the flush out of the pocket. Brooks Reed gets the credit. Get all pumped up there, rookie. But Antonio Smith is the guy that made the play.
Reed will get credit for the sack, and a loss of 9, his 7th sack of the season. And a 50-yard field goal attempt by Nugent. He was hitting him from longer than that in warm-ups. On its way, and it is no good. Wide right. So Dalton and the Bengals offense stall after the sack. And the long field goal by Nugent does not connect. Dalton disappointed. We're still 7-7. Gary Kubiak coaching his first playoff game as a head coach. And he said he's been pleasantly surprised at all that his quarterback, rookie T.J. Yates, has been able to absorb after Matt Schaub and Leinart went down in front of him. And here is Yates scrambling. He did avoid a sack, got back to the line of scrimmage, being chased by Geno Atkins.
Coming off play action, this is what they do. There's going to be a play action, and he wants to sit in the pocket and come back to the in-breaking routes here. Both are covered. There's the play action. Both are taken away. Nothing you can do about it. Kevin Walter on the deep in route or dig route was covered very well by Pac-Man Jones.
2nd and 10. Foster on the draw play. Gets to about the 45-yard line. Tackled by Thomas Howard. As the Houston Texans franchise, Bob McNair, the hero, bringing football back to Texans after the Oilers left for Tennessee. First draft pick David Carr in 2002. 5 straight losing seasons as they tried to build a foundation. Then Gary Kubiak hired as the second coach in 2006. And winning the division title to make their first playoff appearance this season, despite the rash of injuries to key players. Empty backfield under center. Here's Yates. Quick delivery. The pass incomplete. Intended for Walter. And another 4th down for Houston.
Good coverage again in the secondary. Watch what happens with the 2 receivers. Here comes Walter coming underneath. Now, I don't think the ball was intended for Walters. That's Brandon Johnson, their nickel linebacker. I thought the ball was intended for the receiver behind him, which is why the referee did not throw the penalty.
So Matt Turk in punt formation with Brandon Tate deep. Tate backpedals, and it will go into the end zone for the touchback. 11:24 left, 2nd quarter. Wild card game, 7-7. Cincinnati takes over at the 20. 7-7 game, 11:24 second quarter. Wide open is Andrew Hawkins. And Hawkins will gain 7 or 8 on first down. D'Amico Ryans and Sean Cody finally tracked him down.
This is a mismatch here, Tom. Watch Hawkins, how quick he is working on D'Amico Ryans. Fakes him inside, Ryans disappears, breaks it back out. That's an easy throw and catch. And when Hawkins is in the game, they're looking to get him the football. As a matter of fact, Jay Gruden told us yesterday he was on the practice squad and he continually was beating their defense so bad they had to find a way to get him the football in the real game.
Exactly. He's only 5'7". As Jay said, he's a small target. Jay with a little understatement as Benson plows ahead to about the 30-yard line, close to the first down. Boy, don't you enjoy talking to Jay Gruden. Not only is he competent X's and O's, but always with a smile on his face. He just seems to enjoy life and football so much, and he'll have you chuckling as you spend a few minutes with him.
He's got a dry sense of humor. And Tom, last year when they were looking for a quarterback in the draft, and you know what I do is I'm traveling around the country going to all the pro day workouts and combine. Well, everywhere I went, the quarterbacks were working out was Jay Gruden and Marvin Lewis. And we compared notes early and often about that young man right there.
Well, they certainly did their homework and did a good job getting Andy Dalton.
To challenge a spot, which is always hard to challenge. It's hard to win a spot call, I think. Cincinnati wants a first down.
It was marked just short.
Cincinnati is challenging the ruling on the field of the spot of the ball.
Okay, let's take a look here, Tom. When does he come down? The elbow hits there. I don't know if anything hit prior to that.
Well, while they sort out the challenge, we'll take a break in a 7-7 game.
All right.
After review of the play, the ruling on the field is confirmed. The runner was down by contact with the ball short of the line of the game. It'll be third down. Cincinnati will be charged with its first timeout.
So charge the timeout as they challenge the spot. You see his elbow down and the ball well short of the 30. Remember, it was a touchback, so it's easy to say the line to gain has to be the 30. And when his elbow's down, the ball well short of the 30. Good call confirmed by replay. So now third down, less than a yard for the Bengals.
Cincinnati has not been able to run the football so far today. Third and short, they've got their jumbo personnel in the game.
Presley the fullback, Benson the tailback. Now Presley resets to the left. Sneak by Dalton to pick up the first down. Andy Dalton, who ran for 1,600 yards in his TCU career.
First and 10 for the Bengals at the Cincinnati 31-yard.
Quarterback sneak. Great job by the nose tackle there, getting into the center, but what the quarterback did was pick the correct side of the center to dive on. Good job by Dalton.
Dalton with the Horned Frogs set a Mountain West record with nearly 12,000 yards of total offense. Picks up the first down on the sneak as the drive continues for Cincinnati. Play clock ticking down. Dalton punts once. Now a run. Fires back across his body. Complete. Past midfield. Donald Lee, the tight end, still on his feet as he dives inside the 35-yard line. Manning finally caught him. He fumbled the ball. And now flag as well.
I got a feeling he's down. What a great job Dalton did in the pocket, sliding, moving, and keeping his eyes down the field. Here's the end of the play. Donald Lee stretching out. Ball clearly comes out after he's down. That will not be a fumble. The flag. I'm not sure what the flag's for.
We'll find out.
The ruling on the field is that the runner was down by contact.
Yep.
Personal foul. Unnecessary roughness. Late hit, number 94. A 15-yard penalty will be added to the end of the run. First down, Cincinnati.
Antonio Smith called for the late hit. So 36 yards and plus the penalty.
Watch this quarterback and his pocket awareness and presence. There it is. He doesn't have what he wants, which is right in the middle of the field. He pulls it down. Look at his eyes down the field. Because he expands, the linebacker expanded with him. That created the hole to throw the football to Donald Lee. Clearly, to me, he protects the football. Now watch. It's not there. When he expands, the linebacker expands. Now back across his body. That is mature beyond your years right there.
And Donald Lee has playoff experience. He played for Green Bay when they won the Super Bowl last year and has a total of 7 playoff games experience. Made the big play. Dalton 10 of 13 to 7 different receivers. That one caught, but for a small gain. Benson tackled by Joseph.
Really impressed when you put the tape on of this defense. Wade Phillips and what he's done here is mind-boggling. Look at last year. Points per game, 29th. This year, 4th. Yards per game, 30-2. Sacks, 23-6. And then takeaways, probably the most important statistic. They were tied for last in the league. This year, number 12. That's Wade Phillips, and it's an infusion of talent on defense.
One of the most dramatic improvements in defensive stats in the NFL over the last few years.
3-by-1, Gresham by himself, backside.
Dangerous pass by Dalton. That one should have been picked off. He got away with one there.
Yeah, you called it, Tom. Bryce McCain plays in the nickel package, or what they really have is a dime package. Because he gets his hands on the receiver, A.J. Green, and takes away the anticipated in route, Dalton expects him to win. He doesn't win. That's a bad throw.
I think A.J. Green prevented the interception. He jerked one of his arms away, McCain's, and couldn't hold on to the football.
Yeah, he prevented the reception also by not winning.
So 3rd and long. Dalton, shovel pass to Leonard. Texans not fooled.
Boy, they play hard, they play fast.
Wasn't that what most of the Bengals we talked to, coaches and players, said, that it's not exactly a complicated defense, but they play hard and hard and harder. They just never stop.
And I think that was augmented by the Houston players themselves that said Wade simplified things and allowed them to play with speed and toughness.
Nugent for a 37-yard field goal to give Cincinnati the lead. From 37 yards, Mike Nugent is on target, and Cincinnati regains the advantage with 7:09 left in the second quarter. Nugent's 3 makes it 10-7 Bengals. So the Houston Texans find themselves now down by 3. Bob McNair, who invested $1 billion for the stadium and the franchise here to bring football back to Houston, and with Rick Smith, his general manager, to his right. And McNair is a hero here in Houston for returning football. He was telling us the other day that, 5 years it takes to build a foundation and get things going. You have to take your lumps. And then after that, you become competitive. And when you're competitive, anything can happen. He'd hoped they might break through to the playoffs before this, but very gratified that they finally made it here to the playoffs.
And I was really impressed with what Rick Smith did in the offseason. The reason they're in the playoffs is what they did defensively. The first pick, J.J. Watt. The second pick, Brooks Reed. And then in free agency, Danielle Manning and Jonathan Joseph. A lot of people wanted that guy to go sign Nnamdi Asomugha. For Asomugha money, they got 2 defensive backs, and that allowed them to take Glover Quinn from the outside and kick him inside. So he remade the entire defensive backfield, drafted wisely, and we haven't even talked about getting DJ Yates in the 5th round. What a great year for Rick Smith.
DJ Yates in the 5th round. In fact, Marvin Lewis said had they not been able to get Dalton, they had their eye on Yates as well, as Foster is thrown back after he reached the line of scrimmage. And among the spectators today, former President George Bush, Bush 41, with his wife Barbara in attendance here at Reliance Stadium as the playoffs return to the city of Houston.
Tom, we talked about the importance of first down for Houston. Again, stoned on first down in the run game. 2nd and 10, not on schedule. And
Yates raises up and calls a timeout. First time out by the Texans. It comes at the 6:33 mark, second quarter, 3-point game. Well, Bum Phillips patrolled the sidelines in his signature cowboy hat as the Houston Oilers head coach at the Astrodome from 1975 to 1980. In fact, he gave his son Wade his first start in the NFL on the staff of the Oilers back in 1976. And on the right, there is Bum and his son Wade up in the booth as the defensive coordinator of the Texans. That pass by Yates is good to Walter for a first down. So Kevin Walter, with Nate Clemens defending him, makes the catch for the first.
And a good job. They have one receiver, Daniels, to the flat. Clear vision for the quarterback because there's no underneath coverage. And you'll notice that in the nickel package, number 22 right there, Nate Clemens on Walter.
Gain of 11. First down, Houston. Clock approaching 5 minutes to go, first half. Play action fake. Yates rolls downfield deep. And it is incomplete, intended for Andre Johnson, who drew double coverage. As they go for the home run, Clements and Nelson running with Andre Johnson.
I'll tell you what, the backside people, as we roll this play, watch what happens. Look at the backside people. They have no idea that this guy's got the football. That's bad backside discipline. He took the shot down the field when he had a receiver wide open in the flat for 10 or 15 yards. But that's bad news. And if I'm a coach up in the press box, I'm yelling at my coaches, we got to come back to that.
Second down and 10. This is a handoff. Foster picking his way forward to set up a third down and medium.
We talked about Chris Myers right here. Watch him try to get the reach block. And this is zone, guys. Watch the step to the zone. Good job by Dwayne Brown at the point of attack. I think Arian Foster is as good a zone runner, Tom, as I've seen since Terrell Davis back in Denver. And the similarities between what they do offensively are striking.
Foster telling us motivated by not being drafted. He's in his third season. Led the league in rushing last year and the most ever by an undrafted running back. Whoa, dangerous pass. Yates threaded it and got the completion to Daniels. First down, Houston.
Cincinnati thinks he dropped it. They're having a conversation now. Good job by the officials. Somebody else might have had a better look at this than the official that made the call.
See the conference chasing the players out of the confab. First down, Houston.
Now, Owen Daniels had 7 catches the first time they met in week 14. What a smart player. Sits him down in between the 2 linebackers in the zone. He's got tremendous hands. There's the football. That might have been intercepted. Oh my goodness. You got to challenge that one.
And it has been challenged. You see the red flag. Another challenge from Cincinnati.
Watch what happens at the end. Is he down? I don't think he ever has possession. Now, a simultaneous catch goes to the offense.
Looks Daniels like Daniels has it, and then it's just taken away from him after he's down.
Yeah, but does he have control through the process?
Another coach's challenge by Cincinnati.
And Dom, that's significant, obviously. This is their last challenge of the game. If he's not correct, it's last challenge regardless. This is really a significant call for Cincinnati.
Clete Blakeman will explain.
Cincinnati is challenging ruling on the field with a runner down by contact.
So after some discussion, it is officially a Cincinnati challenge of this catch by Owen Daniels. They'll take a good look at it. Cincinnati challenging whether this is a catch or not. This is an angle we haven't seen yet.
I don't think Cincinnati could win it because he's got possession. He's on the ground. He's down by contact. And then the defensive player, Thomas Howard, is trying to rip it away from him at the end. I think Marvin's going to lose this challenge. And Thomas, what that means is not only do they lose another timeout, but more importantly, they lose the ability to challenge for the rest of the game.
There you saw it in real time.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field is confirmed. The receiver controlled the ball and was down by contact. Cincinnati will be charged with its second timeout. Also, Cincinnati is out of challenges for the rest of the game.
So this could be significant. No more challenges for Cincinnati, and they lose another timeout.
See, I think that's the right call. He's got it. He possesses it through the ground, which is what the rules are when a receiver goes to the ground, and then Thomas Howard late is trying to rip it away.
So first down, Houston coming up with 4.5 minutes to go in the first half.
Tom, I think this is advertised. You know, a lot of people like seeing all the scoreboard light up. These are two really solid defenses playing the type of game I thought we'd see.
Toss, Foster, and a nice cut up, and another one broke 2 tackles and picked up a first down. Arian Foster rips off 12 yards. First down, Houston. Pac-Man Jones finally tracked him down.
Now, if you get sloppy as a defensive lineman and turn your shoulders and run, stop right there. Watch number 91 gathers. His shoulders are turned, and now this is an easy cutback. You use his momentum against him, and all the offensive lineman has to do is push him across the hole. I love the patience of Foster. He reads everything correctly. Houston was way too wide. They're turning their shoulders and running. Excuse me, Cincinnati's turning their shoulders and running instead of staying square against that zone attack.
11 carries, 69 yards for Foster. There he is again.
Mike Brazel threw his person into the bench on the sideline. Mike Brazel, the right guard, pulled out and took the Cincinnati defender 6 yards deep on the sideline. Watch Brazel, 65. He's coming out. Where's my guy? Here he is, Howard. Big contact. Watch him continue to drive him all the way through into the bench. And this is his first start coming off a broken leg from back in the first Cincinnati game in week 14.
Had surgery, but here he is back and playing well. Yates stands in the pocket. His pass incomplete, intended for Daniels.
Boy, he had Andre Johnson on flanker drive all day long, clearing routes on the front side. At the very end, that's good coverage by Chris Crocker. Daniels pushing off a little bit. If you're going to throw that back shoulder, it's got to be higher, obviously. That's on the quarterback.
What's the toughest thing to pick up for a rookie quarterback in the passing game?
I think the hardest thing, Tom, is how quickly the pass rush gets to you and whether or not you can keep your eyes down the field instead of letting your eyes drop as the rush comes at you.
From the shotgun. Pass to Johnson and caught. Andre Johnson with a reception, good. For 17 yards and another first down.
This is as good a throw and catch as you're going to see, because pretty good coverage by Kelly Jennings. Not much separation. Look where the football's put, Tom. Right there, that window's about as big as a bread box, because you've got to be outside away from the inside leverage defender, but you've got to give Andre enough time to get both feet down in bounds, and he's got to control the football through that. That's professional football right there. That's a great throw and catch.
Andre Johnson, who has over 700 career receptions. Tate gets a short gain on the play. Andre Johnson now in his 9th season from Miami. As we talked about his injuries, he missed 9 games with a hamstring this year and really couldn't shake it. And in his first playoff game today, after his 124th game as a Houston Texan. As we said, his reception total 34th all time in the NFL, over 700. Yates looked one way, dumped it the other to Foster. Foster hit and finally dropped after a short gain. Looked like it might be something bigger, and a late flag just came in.
Boy, Manny Lawson did a great job, because, Tom, you're right, that should have been a bigger play. Manny Lawson played off a block and made the tackle in the open field. Did a super job.
And some jawing going on next to the sideline. Already a flag down.
You're going to get a late hit there.
There is no foul on the play. Offensive player number 65 was pushed into the pile by a defensive player. There is no foul.
Good job.
This is the 2-minute warning.
So the push results in no foul. Here's what happened. Twelfth play of the drive as they go for the end zone, and it is incomplete, intended for Andre Johnson, broken up by Kelly Jennings.
And I will take that shot every time. Really good job by T.J. Yates. He had a one-on-one situation on Kelly Jennings. You've got one of the best receivers in the history of football. You're giving him a chance to go up and make a play. That's just nice job, Kelly Jennings. You got your head around at the last second so they can't call interference. You got a tiny piece. I've got no problem with T.J. Yates taking the shot there. You protect the field goal.
So on the 13th play of the drive, Neil Rackers will attempt a 39-yard field goal to tie the game.
Charles Barkley?
He'll be hosting Saturday Night Live later tonight as the kick by Rackers is good. Neil Rackers, who's glad to have Matt Turk back as his holder, boots it through the uprights. That was close, by the way. I had to wait for the signal.
Adam Jones didn't think it was good. Take a look, probably see it a little better here. The ball's got to cross the inside of it. Looks like it does.
There it is, and as a scoring play, it is subject to review upstairs. So 10-10 with 1:48 left till halftime. And Houston linebacker Brian Cushing, Cincinnati linebacker Ray Mataluga, teammates at USC. They terrorized the Pac-10 in those days and were on the cover of Sports Illustrated with then teammate and current Packers linebacker Clay Matthews. And
look down here, though. Peter King, I want to know how he did on that mock draft. What do you think?
I was interested in where Brian Cushing took Ray to dinner last night. They were going to go out to dinner earlier. Ray had taken Cushing to dinner when they played in Cincinnati back in December. So they went out to dinner early last night before the Bengals had their meetings. That's Brandon Tate as T.J. Yates continues to get input from not only quarterbacks here, but also from his center, Chris Myers.
Chris Myers, one of the most underrated players in the league.
Raptors kick clears the end zone. Touchback. .148 left. Bengals from the 20 in a 10-10 wild card game.
Only one timeout remaining.
The other two lost to challenges.
Oh boy.
Sidearm cross by Dalton to Leonard, and Brian Cushing, whom we just mentioned a moment ago, right in the middle of things.
I think Brian Cushing has had the kind of year, right there he is there watching. When he sees it, there's nobody quicker at that linebacker position, and he could have been named an All-Pro this year.
Hurry up for the Bengals. Dalton scrambling, tucks it under, has a nice gain, and slides down at the 35-yard line. First down, Cincinnati. They'll mark it at the 34, 15-yard gain.
Now, you can't confuse him athletically with Cam Newton, but he's a good athlete, and he did the right thing. Brooks Reed challenged the pocket. He tucked it, got the first down, slid, and he's ready to go again.
Batted down and intercepted. Intercepted by J.J. Watt. Touchdown, Houston. J.J. Watt, the rookie from Wisconsin, who began his college career at Central Michigan, left delivering pizza. He said, "What am I doing with my life?" Walked on at Wisconsin, became an All-American, an academic All-Big Ten, and scoring a touchdown in his rookie season for the Houston Texans.
Here he is right here. Watch a little swim move. He sees the quarterback and elevates, catches the football. I'm not sure there's a defensive tackle in the league that would catch that football. Remember, Tom, as you said, a tight end at Central Michigan, so ball skills are evident.
Neil Rucker's extra point is good. Dalton victimized on the interception. J.J. Watt. He's fired up, and so is this crowd.
What a great first-round pick. It wasn't a sexy pick, but it certainly looks that way now. I thought this guy was a top 10 pick, and here he is working on Mike McGlynn, number 66, little arm over. He sets, gets vision on the quarterback, elevates, and there aren't a lot of wide receivers that would catch that football the way he did. That was phenomenal.
Did he have Velcro on those gloves? It just latched in there and would not come free as he trots into the end zone.
You know, and I think Dalton knows that there's not much you can do about that. That's just a great individual effort by an opposing player. Wow.
The Texans take their first lead of the game, and even the offense is fired up. Daniels, tight end to former tight end.
Yeah, Daniels needs to work on that high five move. that was a little ugly.
Well, we talked about how good the Houston defense was, and they showed you there as they make an offensive play for a touchdown. Jay Gruden hears the explanation from Andy Dalton. So with 52 seconds left in the first half, Rackers will kick it off again. Tate back of the end zone. He'll down it. Haven't had a kickoff return today. And now Watt's got to go right back on the field. Oh, more oxygen, please.
Look at him.
No time to celebrate and think about that touchdown. You got to get right back out there.
I was on the field with him before the game while he was loosening up. That's Brian Brayman, one of their better special teams player down on the field. I was talking to J.J. Watt on the field before the game. I said, what can we look for today? Give me something. He said, Mike, relentless effort, and we're just going to make plays, and we're not going to stop. And that was a pretty good example of all of it.
Well, he turned his life around in a big way, did Watt, and the rewards just keep coming for him as they tend to. Brayman.
It's a tough kid right there. He's one of the best special teams players in the league.
Well, I'll show you how tough he is. Watch this. Brayman on this play against Tennessee last week lost his helmet. Did that stop him? No.
Oh.
Is head to helmet contact legal?
I think we're going to have a booth review on that. All I know, look at him.
Sitting up.
I might have tested him before that play, just to question his sanity. That's an unbelievable hit. We're talking about a warrior. Good to see him up.
Walking off the field with a hand from this big crowd. All right, first down Bengals, 52 seconds left. Is Dalton a little shell-shocked after that?
I don't think he will be. I don't think he's that kind of kid. That was just a great individual effort by J.J. Watt. The key here, Tom, is not to compound the mistake, and they won't.
They'll play it safe and hand it off to Brian Leonard.
Hey, if I'm Houston, I'm calling timeout now, right?
Still 40 seconds left.
It looks like they're going to let it go.
So it's a rare thing for Dalton in the closing stages of his rookie year to throw an interception. And as you said, that it wasn't so much the pass, it was the great effort by J.J. Watt that resulted in the interception and the touchdown. 20 seconds. Another handoff to Leonard. Leonard crosses the 40-yard line. Demps the tackle. Gain of 20, but that'll be the last play apparently.
No.
Nope. Called a timeout.
Correct. That big play convinced Cincinnati to take their final timeout. Remember, only the head coach can call a timeout from the sideline. So Marvin's getting on little slide drill right there.
He was tracking him, yeah. So their final timeout. They lost the first two on challenges. So out of timeouts with 8 seconds remaining.
Houston, of course, is going to put their dime group out there and get very, very deep. Two choices here. You gear up and throw it deep, or you try to hit a sideline route for about 20 to 25 yards so you can kick a field goal. 8 seconds.
Dalton in trouble. Sacked. J.J. Watt. Now he's feeling it.
I really thought he was a borderline all-pro player this year as a rookie. That's how impressive he's played.
Bengals set to receive the second half kickoff. They'll go to the locker room trailing the Houston Texans. Emotions running high, the first playoff game ever for the Houston Texans. While we have a moment, we want to say congratulations to our colleague Rob Hyland and his wife Michelle on the birth of their first child a few days ago. Chloe, who is home watching this game now. Rob's getting her started early. So congratulations to Rob and Michelle on the birth of Chloe, their first child earlier this week. Getting ready to start the second half. Houston in front by 7 by virtue of a pick 6 by J.J. Watt. And Cincinnati will get the ball to open the second half as Rackers kicks it off to Tate. Tate will bring out. Tries to cut back. Wrapped up at the 15-yard line and tackled. Good special teams by the Texans, who lead by virtue of this pick 6.
And watch what happens in the NFL on quick throws. Everybody's running a quick throw. What the offensive line should do is attack the defensive lineman's feet or knees. Why? You want to get their hands down. You want to give your quarterback clear vision. What happened there? Not only did he not have clear vision, but J.J. Watt made him pay for it. Mike McGlynn needed to cut him to make that play possible.
And ironically, last year in the Rose Bowl, Dalton and TCU beat Watt and Wisconsin. Watt got the advantage there as Cedric Benson spins on first down. Quinn tackles him. Let's go to Alex.
Hey, Tom, well, Marvin Lewis telling me that his defense needs to come up with some of those turnovers like J.J. Watt had in the first half. He told me of the 2 flags that he used in the first half and lost on those challenges, that it doesn't happen like that often, and they'll have to see what happens in the second half. Says that his team needs to do a better job of running the ball in the second half. Not getting 2- and 3-yard gains, but turning those into 7- and 8-yard gains, Tom.
All right, Alex. Benson just ran for 7. He had only 9 yards rushing at halftime. Tries to go the other way, and as he tries to cut back, he'll be stopped for a loss by Antonio Smith.
Antonio Smith, again, one of the more. Watch him come through the hole here and make the play from behind. Boom. There he comes. Antonio Smith and J.J. Watt are the 2-5 techniques. That means they're defensive ends in a 3-4. They, along with Sean Cody and Earl Mitchell, are dominating the line of scrimmage.
3rd down and 5. And a penalty marker. Probably going to be a substitution violation, one would think.
12 in the huddle, maybe?
12 men in the huddle. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Still third down.
Tom, that's where a rookie quarterback's got to take control and not let that 12th guy in the huddle, or he's got to take himself out of the huddle. But you can't allow 12 in the huddle ever.
And Dalton continues to have trouble hearing the play call in that radio helmet as Benson goes to the sideline.
Wow, 3rd and 10. Now, Jermaine Gresham did not catch a pass in the first half. That's him down here. What a great job Houston's done taking him away. And again, timeout already.
Cincinnati takes a timeout. We'll be back. Andy Dalton, chase from the pocket, unloads it, complete, ducking one tackler, and getting it again is Brian Leonard. But Leonard will be well short of first down yardage, and Cincinnati will have to punt on its first possession of the second half.
Tom, they're really doing a good job on Jermaine Gresham. Split him wide again. They doubled him. As soon as he made an in-breaking route, inside linebacker took it away, and Andy had to pull it down.
Gresham, who caught 56 balls during the regular season.
The first frustration I've seen with Dalton so far today. I think he's struggling hearing the play calls, and that's why they were so late.
Kevin Huber to punt on 4th down to Jones. Says get away from it. And then picks it up on the bounce. Dangerous move, but he got away with it at his own 35-yard line. 44-yard punt with a return of 3 as the skyline of downtown Houston. Actually, I'll be back here next week for the Olympic marathon trials for men and women. As Dalton takes a look with Jay Gruden at some of the photos.
There's the group dominating the football game right there. That's the defensive line and the front 7 of the Houston Texans. And again, Wade Phillips and what they've done defensively compared to a year ago is mind-boggling.
First down for the Texans, leading by 7 in this wild card matchup. Foster. Pretty good gain on first down, about 5 yards as they stay on schedule.
Tom, we talked in the first half about how they're putting Pecco right on the center's nose, right here. I think Myers is doing a good job adjusting. Look how quickly he gets out in front of him, gets his hips turned. At that point, it's a win for the offense, and they'll take 5 yards all day long.
Cutting back, Foster made a nice gain out of it, has a first down, breaks a tackle, and forced out of bounds finally by Malaluga. It's a gain of 12.
The tight ends in this offense are key. Watch the block here by Owen Daniels. Yes, he catches a lot of footballs, but this is a little wind-back play. Does just well enough on Frosty Rucker to allow Foster the edge. Comes across, gets a piece of Rucker, good cut and vision by Foster. That's what this offense is about. Nobody's above blocking, wide receivers and tight ends included.
Foster averaging over 6 yards a carry. This time it's Tate. And Tate for a couple of yards as we check with Alex.
Hey, Tom, we'll look for Tate and Arian Foster to continue running the ball. Gary Kubiak saying he was disappointed with how his team ran the ball in the first half, that they will be patient with the run to continue to do it to help out their rookie quarterback. Says that the key in this second half, according to Gary Kubiak, is who controls the line of scrimmage, Tom.
All right, well, Alex, Foster has carried 14 times for 86 yards so far.
I'm good with that.
Yep.
You know, that's a great average per carry, and if they're patient and that holds up, they're going to be tough to beat.
Fake to Tate, and Yates fires behind his receiver, and it's broken up. Intended for Andre Johnson.
Play action throwback to Johnson. The ball's behind him, but this is a catch Andre Johnson usually makes. Throwback, ball's behind. He catches that all day long, and Tom, he looks a little rusty to me. Now, he's been back the last couple of weeks. They didn't play him against Indianapolis. They had him on a snap count a week ago, and for a guy that I thought looked really good in practice 2 days ago, he struggled a little bit today.
3rd down and 9. Yates in trouble and sacked. Reggie Nelson on a safety blitz, able to get the sack of TJ Yates.
Yeah, untouched. This is just right here. This is just bringing more people than the offense could block. They're in cover 1, which is man-to-man behind. When Winston, the right tackle, steps down, the free safety, Reggie Nelson comes free. And what I like about both these rookie quarterbacks is they protect the football. They don't compound mistakes.
So Matt Turk is on to punt. 4th down punt heading in the direction of Tate. Brandon calls for a fair catch and makes it at about the 8-yard line. So the Bengals get the ball back, but still backed up deep in their own territory, trailing by 7. Here's the handoff to Bernard Scott. And whereas Foster has had a good day running, Benson has been held in check. And look over on the Cincinnati side. They're taking a lot of oxygen, too. What's the story?
Well, when you play Houston with their outside zone stretch game, defensive linemen spend the entire day running laterally sideline to sideline, more so than any other offense. So when you start talking about 40, 50, 60 snaps compounded, you're going to tire out that entire defensive line, and it pays dividends in the 4th quarter.
Cedric Benson, who gained 1,000 yards in the regular season, just 7 carries for 14 yards. And on the sideline here, as Dalton throws a screen pass complete to Bernard Scott. Scott, remember, the speedster, and sprints out close to the 1st down before he's taken down by Brian Cushing.
Making 3rd down and 1 for the Bengals.
Really like the screen game from both teams. Why? Because they can do tailback or tight end. Here it's a tailback screen. Right here, nice cut block there, and then down the field, look at the wide receiver block. Coastal Carolina graduate Jerome Simpson. Good job on the screen, sets up a short 3rd and 1.
From the 17-yard line of the Bengals.
Okay, if you want to take a shot here, Andy Dalton, you can. You got Jonathan Joseph in man coverage right here.
Instead, they'll hand the ball off to Scott, who picks his way forward across the 20 for a 1st down, where he's tackled by Brooks Reed. So Cincinnati converts a 3rd and short. Benson still on the sideline as Scott picked up that 1st.
Give Cedric Benson some credit. He was a high pick out of Texas. A lot of people, Tom, considered him a bust with the Chicago Bears. He's kind of reinvented himself. 3 consecutive 1,000-plus yard seasons here in Cincinnati, and I give the kid a ton of credit for that.
Former 1st-round pick of the Bears. Had 300-yard games this season, averaged right at 4 yards a carry. Play action fake. Andy Dalton throws off his back foot, and it's caught. Ryan Whalen with a reception downfield to the 40-yard line. That's a gain of 20. Glover Quinn finally makes the tackle, but a big hit from Dalton to Whalen.
Yeah, play action pass, and Whalen right here, a 6th-round pick from Stanford. Deep over route, he beats Glover Quinn, and I love the timing. Dalton getting rid of the football, just floating it out there because he knows he's wide open. Whenever a guy's that wide open, coaches say just throw it friendly, be friendly. Throws it off his back foot. It's a friendly throw. Great job by Dalton and Whalen, both rookies.
Now from the 41, the drive began deep in Bengals territory. Play clock down to 2. Whalen again off the back foot, heaves it up for grabs, and it carries Simpson out of bounds, no catch.
Yeah, and you know, if you're going to throw this route, you might as well keep it in bounds. You know, you're taking a shot on 1st and 10. If the safety can't get there, you either got to throw it up inbounds, or you got to go back shoulder and drive it to his back shoulder. But throwing it out of bounds there does you no good. I mean, Jerome Simpson's one of the most acrobatic wide receivers in the league with a huge vertical jump.
Bengals with a 2nd and 10 blitz from the Texans. Hand off to Scott. Nowhere to go, a couple of yards. Well, you talked about the acrobatic move of Jerome Simpson. Who hasn't seen this highlight? Against Arizona, Week 16, flipped over Darrell Washington into the end zone, sticks the landing, Gave the Bengals a 17-0 lead. They won the game 23-16. You'll be seeing that one for years.
And when a guy has that kind of ups, give him a chance to catch the football. Don't throw it away.
6.5 to go, third quarter. Third down and long for the Bengals. Blitz. Dalton sacked. Antonio Smith first to get there.
Overload blitz from the left side of the offensive line. Whitworth and Livings. Watch what happens here. Clover Quinn's going to loop around. They get the overload blitz. Good job by the back picking up the backer. But boy, everybody got free. Good job again by Wade Phillips' defense.
Kevin Huber in punt formation. He's averaged 50 today. Jones fields it at the 20. Trying to get to the sideline. Only Huber to beat. And then chased down from behind. A flag is down.
Yeah, they had a little something built up there. They had a wall built along the Bengals sideline, but the flag's going to bring that back.
Will nullify a 30-yard return after the punt covered 41.
During the return, illegal block in the back, and the return team. Penalty is 10 yards from the spot of the foul. First down, Houston.
Those things are just killers. And instead of being out there near the 50-yard line, you're backed up. There's the block in the back. We're going to take a break.
Houston on first down. Handoff to Foster. And thinking about that road to the Super Bowl, if Houston wins today, they will go to Baltimore next week. If Cincinnati wins, they'll go to New England. But it seems like the team everybody's trying to dodge here in the postseason would be in the AFC anyway, the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, they're a number 5 seed, but they're a 12-4 team that is as dangerous as any team in the playoffs. I think, Tom, everybody assumes they're going to go out to Denver and win, as I do. And if you're Baltimore, for instance, you're hoping and praying Houston wins, so you get Houston, and then you're hoping that maybe the game up in New England, between Pittsburgh and New England, if Pittsburgh wins, you get another home game.
Screen pass complete to Arian Foster. Foster still on his feet as he breaks to the sideline and forces out of bounds after a good gain and a first down. Reggie Nelson forces him out, but Arian Foster that time through the air for 15 yards.
Did you see how quickly he got up off the knee after he slipped and fell? Good job by Yates. They've got an untouched defensive lineman. There's the slip. Look how quickly he gets up, changes direction. Tom, that change of direction right there, you either wake up in the morning with that or you never develop it. That's special right there. Slip, slide, stick the right foot in the dirt, change direction, see ya. That's special.
First down from the 32. Tate.
Oh, great hit.
Stopped for no gain.
I think that was Dan Scuda.
It was Scuda.
Kids from Grand Valley State University, third year in the league. Watch 51 right there. That's as good as it gets. And all you people that want to know about helmet to helmet, that's not a protected species there. That's a running back with a football in his hands. That's a great hit. Tom, that's textbook.
Stopping Ben Tate, who just came up short of 1,000 yards rushing on the season. 942, giving them a pretty good ground 1-2 punch, Foster and Tate. Yates looks one way, goes the other, dumps it off, complete. Here's Foster, and Foster again shows his running ability, dives across the 45-yard line, a gain of 12. And Foster made it happen as he took the short pass from Yates, who bought some time and found the man.
53 receptions during the season, not just the screen game, but check downs and routes. Tom, this guy had 278 carries, 53 receptions, which gave him 331 touches. And look at the group he's in there with. That's as good as it gets as far as NFL royalty at that position.
Obviously, the Texans relying on Arian a lot. On the ground and through the air. Here he gets another call and is to midfield. Alex?
Well, Tom, as you and Mike well know, Arian Foster, undrafted coming out of Tennessee. He was originally signed by the Texans, put on their practice squad 3 years ago. He said that he was sitting at home one night watching a football game on TV when the announcers said that one of the players he was watching had been called up from the practice squad. Says it was the first time it ever occurred to him that a player could be called up from the practice squad. Says that's what motivated him to get him playing better, and here he is today.
And he is a force. Fake it to him. Yates rolling to his right, delivers the ball.
That was all day that should have been picked by Crocker.
Crocker had it in his sights and could not hold it. Incomplete.
Yeah, I saw this coming the whole way because the free safety's going to drive on the deep cross. So watch what happens if we start to roll this. You're going to see the free safety make a move. There comes the play action. Now watch this free safety jump the route. He sees it the whole time. He set up a rookie quarterback. He did everything perfectly except catch the football, Chris Crocker. You're a hero. J.J. Watt did make the catch. Chris Crocker didn't. That's the difference in our football game.
3rd down and 6. Yates chased, finally found Johnson. Andre Johnson for a first down as Yates improvises. Johnson juggled it for a moment, latched onto it. First down, Houston.
Great job this time by the quarterback because watch Crocker come untouched. Crocker's untouched. Yates steps up and threw it and finds Andre Johnson, who's going to drive across in a shallow crossing route, and this time catch the football. Tom, it doesn't look to me, there's the eyes back across the field. He's not, everything's a tough catch today. Doesn't look as natural as he always does catching the football, and that's kind of part of it when you haven't played.
Looks like Pac-Man Jones shaking up on the play. We'll take a break. Pac-Man Jones on the sideline after being shaken up on that last play, and Kelly Jennings in to replace him.
Keep in mind they lost Leon Hall in the middle of November, so they're down pretty deep into that depth chart with the corners.
First down give to Foster. His 17th carry of the game. He's got about 92 yards rushing and 29 receiving, so over 120 yards in the game for Arian Foster.
Remember how his game started off with those fumbles?
Yeah.
He looked a little shaky. He had 2 fumbles and an offsides early in the game, within the first minute or 2. Very nervous. I think he's worked his way in the game, and it's a typical Arian Foster effort.
He's on the sideline now as Ben Tate comes in. Yates, plenty of time, and going deep for Johnson, wide open, got it, touchdown!
What a great job. Watch the protective cup right here. Look how clean that is. And if you're going to do a double move, you've got to have the time. And then on the outside, working on Pac-Man Jones, who was just hurt. No footwork. His eyes were in the wrong place. And Andre Johnson just took advantage of it.
Taylor Jonathan Yates with a touchdown toss. And what about Andre Johnson, who wondered if he'd ever get a chance to be in the playoffs with a touchdown reception. Rackers extra points on the mark. Andre Johnson from TJ Yates. Got to feel good about this for the veteran. Ups the Texans lead. Johnson with a touchdown as Houston has scored 17 straight points. Pac-Man Jones out for a play after being injured and then burned for the touchdown.
He probably wishes he stayed on the bench, huh?
Here's Rackers with the kickoff. Brandon Tate sees it sail through the end zone.
Tom, you know, the difference to me in the football game is often who takes advantages of opportunities. In the last series, TJ Yates rolls, Chris Crocker does everything perfectly except catch the football. If he catches this, whether or not he takes it back to the end zone, Houston doesn't have the opportunity to throw the double move touchdown. And if you take it a step further, let's not forget J.J. Watt. He did catch his interception and return it. So one team's taking advantage, the other team isn't, and all of a sudden a very evenly contested game skews towards Houston.
Big plays making the difference. Dalton's pass. And Simpson can't hold on. Got a pretty good hit from Jason Allen.
Jason Allen's career has come back. Good job. Now, Coastal Carolina, come on, man, come back to the football. If you stand there and wait, Jerome Simpson, you give the defensive back, Jason Allen, all day to come back and make a play. I love the athleticism of Simpson, but he's got to learn the intricacies of running routes.
Brian Leonard in for the Bengals on 2nd and 10. Pass underneath and a move made by Simpson. Simpson still jumping around as he crosses the 35-yard line. That's good for 16 yards.
How about on cue? First he makes Quentin Demps miss him, and then we talk about athleticism. All right, Quentin Demps missed me now. Whoops, there we go. Bryce McCain, too bad. This kid is an unbelievable athlete. I hope he continues to develop his route running game because he's got the ability to be special.
Yards after hurdle, 7. Jermaine Gresham finally gets into the game with a reception close to a first down.
10 yards on the play.
Just a little pick play. They finally get the football to Gresham.
First and 10 for the Bengals at the Cincinnati 46 yards.
Here's the pick right here. Keeps the defender from getting to him. Easy throw and catch. They've got to find ways to get the football to this guy. I think he's an all-pro tight end. You got to get him the ball.
Did pick up the first down. As the third quarter comes to a close. The Houston Texans, playing their first playoff game in franchise history, have this city excited. They lead 24-10. NBC's NFL Wildcard Playoff continues after these messages. As we start the fourth quarter, now the Bengals set a franchise record this season with fourth quarter comebacks. Dalton will be sacked. Earl Mitchell, the Houston native, with his second sack of the season.
Boy, does he do a great job getting skinny between the center and the guard. Nose tackle, Earl Mitchell. Watch him get skinny through here. Good job using his hands. Poor job by the left guard. Livings does an exceptional job getting through. One of the better undersized pass rushing defensive tackles in the league at only 6'3", 289.
Loss of 9 on the play. Dalton going deep downfield, down the sideline, and too long for Simpson, who was open had the pass been a little shorter.
I mean, he had him there, and this is where you can't miss. This ball's got to be closer to the sidelines. Demps is late getting out of his pedal. Allen gets beat. If that ball's thrown to the outside shoulder, it's a big play. And trust me, I don't have to tell Andy Dalton that. He already knows it. You're down 14 in a playoff game, Tom. You can't miss those kind of throws.
3rd and 19.
Now you try to make a play here. You don't want to compound a mistake and get away from you quickly.
Diving catch made by Gresham, but short of the first down. It's a gain of 16 yards.
Yeah, let's see what happens here. I think they're giving him the catch. He's got it clearly. Now he's got to possess it through the catch on the ground. He showed him the football. I think that's a catch. Slides under it, protects the football. It's rule to catch on the field. He bobbles it, but he still has the football there. And then I think there's contact by the defender before the ball comes loose.
And on 4th down and 3, Cincinnati will go for it. Timeout, Houston.
I think he wants to take a look at this.
Houston takes their first timeout.
So timeout taken with 13.5 to play.
Tom, I hate the timeout because you gave Cincinnati time to think about it, and now they're going to go for it.
4th down and 3, they will go for it.
This is on Gary Kubiak and the Texans if Cincinnati makes it.
Dalton pumped once, has to bring it back down. He's in trouble and just heaves it downfield, up for grabs.
Don't even catch that, just knock it down.
Right. Joseph intercepted it, but that was 4th down. The ball would have come back to the line of scrimmage. Instead, he catches it for the interception.
That Houston defense made their coach good. No problem. Heavy pressure again. Dalton with the pump fake because of the coverage, and now there's a problem. And he knows it. The only thing he can do, because it's 4th down, is throw it up for grabs. Jonathan Joseph, I love everything about it, but just knock it down. You lost 30 or 40 yards of position.
Probably thinking about Green, who has that uncanny ability to really go to the top and pick up the ball, but not a chance on that one. It turns out to be just as good as a punt since Joseph caught it.
Exactly.
Foster stopped this time at the line of scrimmage. Alex?
Hey, Tom, well, the frustration certainly setting in here on the Cincinnati Bengals sideline. You see Adam Pac-Man Jones out on the field, but took a long time for teammates to calm him down after he was burned on the touchdown by Andre Johnson. Mike Zimmer came over, tried to talk to him, the defensive coordinator of the Bengals. Adam wouldn't even talk to him, shoved him off and stormed away. Andy Dalton, meanwhile, just after they called the timeout, the Texans did, he came over to the sideline, threw his helmet over the bench.
Well, most everybody's aware of Pac-Man's history, so that comes as not a great surprise, as Andre Johnson catches it from T.J. Yates. You know, Yates, an interesting story from Marietta, Georgia. He went to Pope High School, didn't play basketball as a junior, and was a good basketball player. And
now, Pac-Man had bad footwork on that touchdown. We talked about that, but also it's compounded by the safety. Now watch what happens with the safety's angle. If he takes a good angle, he still has a chance. Because he took the narrow angle, it becomes a touchdown.
So 3rd and 5 here for the Texans. They hand it to Foster.
Oh, is that
Look at Foster. Goes out of bounds, picks up the first down.
You want to talk about sweet feet here, Thomas? Watch this little jump cut. Right here, watch him. Boom. You can't touch me. I'm going outside. Then I'm going to cut it up inside. His vision and acceleration. He goes from 0 to 60. He might not run a 4.4, but he goes from 0 to 60 as quick as any back in the league.
And you see he's now over 100 yards, 101 yards rushing. I'm going to finish the story about T.J. Yates here in a moment. Foster breaks free. Special runner as Pac-Man chases him out of bounds. So Yates from Marietta, Georgia, Pope High School, didn't play football as a junior, concentrating on basketball, and got some basketball scholarship honors. But coaxed back onto the football team as a senior, but not recruited. In fact, the North Carolina recruiters were looking at a linebacker for the opposing team when, as TJ said to us, he had a good game. So sight unseen, they recruited him, brought him to North Carolina. As a redshirt freshman, he was a starter, but they won only 4 games. Injured the middle of his sophomore year. So bad as a junior, he was booed at a
That's right.
at a basketball game when he was introduced to the crowd. And then all the trouble with the NCAA as a senior, and players disqualified. They had a rough year there as Tate gets the pitch. And Ben Tate picks up another Houston first down. So before he ever came to the professional leagues, T.J. Yates had his share of adversity and playing through it. And here he is, the 3rd quarterback to start the season. But after injuries to Shoop and to Leinart, he's thrust into the starting lineup. There's Shute on the bench. Shoup on the bench, Schaub, I should say, Schaub and Leinart. And here's T.J. Yates as a rookie starting and on the verge of winning if they can hold on. Matt Leinart injured too. He was the 2 quarterback.
Tom, that's a great story, and just to kind of tag on that, at the combine last year, he was not invited as a quarterback. He was invited to throw to the defensive backs as a, quote, throwing quarterback for the defense.
Hand off to Tate.
He said, I asked him about that. He said he spent hours each day at the combine throwing deep passes to defensive backs.
Which they didn't catch.
Which mostly. They didn't catch, exactly. And the other thing about Yates is he mentioned the offense coming out of North Carolina and how similar it is to the Houston offense. And I'll tell you one more thing. The head coach at North Carolina, Butch Davis, the quarterback coach and coordinator, John Shoup, they did a great job coaching him up. As does Greg Knapp right now. They spent a lot of time looking at the system of this kid when he came out of North Carolina.
As we said earlier, too, Matt Schaub and Leinart, Jake Delhomme, Jeff Garcia, all veteran quarterbacks have been coaching along. And also Gary Kubiak, who was a quarterback himself. So he's gotten plenty of help, and he has been taking it all in. Alex?
Hey, Tom, and Greg Knapp, the quarterback's coach for the Houston Texans, maybe the guy that should get the credit, as Mike well knows. He's the guy that runs the quarterback drills at the combine, so he got a lot of exposure to T.J. Yates. You know, the Texans had no plans of drafting a quarterback at all, really, in the draft, but T.J. Yates was there in the 5th round. They weren't expecting him to be there, so they jumped in and took him, and boy, they've got to be happy they did.
Rick Smith again in that draft last year. 1st round, J.J. Watt. 2nd round, Brooks Reed. 5th round, your starting quarterback. And that's a home run.
Here's James Casey. His 2nd carry of the season. I thought it was pretty interesting, though, when Marvin Lewis said if they had been unable to get Andy Dalton, they thought T.J. Yates might be a sleeper.
He came on late, Tom, and again, at the combine, wasn't even invited quarterback. At his pro day, everybody was there to watch Greg Little and all these other big-name guys on North Carolina's defense. He was an afterthought. But the more coaches got involved with the process, put him up on the board, talked to him, understood how much he knew about the game, and that he came out of one of the few college offenses in the country running a pro-style offense. That's when his stock began to increase.
TJ, who left Chapel Hill with 37 North Carolina records. Passed for nearly 10,000 yards.
Delay a game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Still 4th down.
By design, just move it back 5 because they're going to punt the ball anyway.
And let a few more seconds tick off the clock as TJ puts his helmet away, and his counterpart Andy Dalton. They met each other at Peyton Manning's camp in the summer, right? And said that while they weren't great friends, they were cordial, and you could see how each would be likable.
And I was there as one of the coaches in that camp, and I'll tell you what, there were 2 of the kids that just had, you could tell they were bright-eyed kids.
Turk punts to Tate. Gonna try to run it out of there. Fielded it deep, and then he stopped deep. A shoestring tackle made to stop them deep. That was James Casey. Well, the Bengals with a franchise record, 5 games won and trailing in the 4th quarter. They'll need a miracle, a near miracle here. Scoreless their last 5 possessions today and backed up deep as Gresham is knocked out of bounds by Quinn.
No margin for error at this point with the rookie quarterback. They were 91 yards away. You're trailing by 14. The clock is at 7:15 and running.
Andy Dalton going deep. One of his receivers fell down. This one is picked off.
And there's the mistake.
Danielle Manning, as Dalton went for A.J. Green, and Manning picked it off. 2nd interception tossed by Dalton today.
Yeah, Dalton hung it up way too high. Did not see the safety coming over top. Watch what happens to the corner right here. Jonathan Joseph does not have deep responsibilities. Great job. 24-10, and this place is rocking.
Andy Dalton had just tossed his 3rd interception of the game in his homecoming from the Houston area, Katy, Texas. Houston now will get that potent ground game going as Foster spins his way to a small gain.
Tom, I thought this was clearly the first big mistake by Dalton. Quarters over here, and the safety Manning clearly has half the field. Watch the corner come up, redirect the wide receiver. You can't make this throw. You hang it up. That's an interception I could probably make today, and Daniel Manning made it look prettier, though. Look at him. 1 foot down, possession, 2nd foot just inside, as we can see. And the irony is, had he been out of bounds, Cincinnati couldn't have challenged it anyway because they're out of challenges.
So 3 interceptions by Dalton today. That was the worst one of the 3, though.
Yeah, the other 2 were really not a big deal.
Here's Foster, slipped and then slithers for a couple of yards.
Slipped and slithered. I like that. Well done. And I wasn't trying to demean the interception by Manning. That was great by saying it. I was just trying to make the point that I think Dalton missed the read there, and it was a pretty obvious one.
And you know what Houston has done? They've eliminated A.J. Green for all intents and purposes, the potent Pro Bowl rookie receiver. 4 receptions, 42 yards today, and none since early in the 2nd quarter.
Right.
Big.
And that's huge. And Gresham only has 3 catches for 33, and I think they shut him out in the first half. So they're 2 big guns in the pass game. They've squatted on them pretty effectively.
Play clock. Just got it off in time as Foster breaks down the sideline, uses his blockers, still going for the touchdown.
Antoine Campbell's in at right guard, does a great job at the point of attack with Atkins. They get Malu the field to the inside. Now you turn the Jets on and try and stay inbounds. Boom, boom, in, runs over Crocker. Come on, you got to make a tackle there, fellas. Great job by Arian Foster. Clearly in bounds, couldn't have been challenged anyway, except for the fact that it's a scoring play, and now the booth says it's a good to go.
42-yard touchdown jaunt by Arian Foster, who now has gained 153 yards and 2 touchdowns in his first playoff game. Neil Rackers, it's good. Arian Foster, quite a day. Gets a reliant leap.
I mean, you got to make the tackle. Kelly Jennings, Chris Crocker. I think Mike Zimmer's one of the best defensive coordinators in football, and he's going to be frustrated with the lack of effort on the tackle.
Even the defensive guys loved it. Look at Wade Phillips.
That defensive coordinator, however, didn't mind the lack of tackling. That's priceless.
And there's his dad, Bum, and his wife, Debbie, enjoying the moment as well. Rackers to Tate. Down to the end zone. Tom Hammond, Mike Mayock, Alex Flanagan in Houston, where the party is about to erupt as the playoffs return to this city, the Bayou City. And if they do win, as it looks as if they will, Arian Foster will have played a huge role. Cincinnati limiting him to 2.7 yards a carry in the first meeting, a 1-point win by the Texans, but he's gone wild today. Matt Leinart, there's Bob McNair, the owner. He's got to be feeling so proud. The man who returned football to Houston. Screen pass to Brian Leonard. Leonard works his way out to the 30-yard line and will pick up a first down.
Tom, keep in mind that if they do go on and win this football game, Houston, they're going to have to travel to Baltimore, where they've already played once this year. Baltimore beat them 29-14. Tough matchup because Baltimore's run defense is so darn good.
Andy Dalton whips that one complete to Simpson. Kareem Jackson playing well off him as he gains 9 on the play.
Yeah, you don't want to play too soft here. It's too early. There's almost 5 minutes left in the game. They've got a tremendous 4-man rush. Houston does, which I think they're going to lean on right now. Bill Collar, the defensive line coach, is also the assistant head coach, does as good a job as any defensive line coach in the league.
Not much there as Leonard crashed down by Cushing.
And we talked with him a little bit yesterday about the Pro Bowl, Tom, right? He wasn't very happy that he wasn't included. I liked his attitude. It was just going to drive him even harder. And I'll take it a step further. I love Ray Lewis, and I'll defend that he's one of the best players that ever played forever. But I thought Brian Cushing had a better season this year.
First down draw play to Leonard. Leonard makes a nice gain out of it. Picks up another first down just short of the 40-yard line of Houston.
Houston trading yards for time
as we come to the 4-minute mark.
Brian Leonard in the game, in case you're wondering, because he's typically their third down back. He's a better pass protection guy, and he catches the football out of the backfield better.
Gresham
get out of bounds.
Instead of fighting for yardage, which he does, but the clock continues to roll. 3:40.
All right, Tom, and those 5 yards he got fighting for it don't do anything. Get out of bounds, Jermaine. You got to. It's situational football. You got to know what you're doing here.
Under 3.5. Complete in the center of the field to Gresham. Another first down. Quinn wrapped him up. Dalton's pass juggled and dropped by Scott. Stops it at 3:13.
Scott's got to get his head around quicker.
So in a playoff game, only the third undrafted player with over 100 yards rushing in the playoffs. Paul Lowe and Ryan Grant. Those are both pretty accomplished runners too. And Arian telling us that that not being drafted really has motivated him throughout his 3-year career. Dalton pumped once, now slides and delivers. Pass complete and out of bounds to A.J. Green. His first catch since the second quarter.
I'll tell you another thing about Arian Foster. If you look back to that 09 draft year, Rick Smith, I think, had another really significant year. In the first round, he gets Brian Cushing. In the second round, Connor Barwin. As a free agent, he gets an all-pro Arian Foster. And then in free agency, Sean Cody and Antonio Smith. I think the 09 class and the 2011 class have become the glue to this entire team.
Dalton underneath again to Scott. Scott inside the 15-yard line, covered by Cushing. That's an 11-yard gain. Clock continues to roll now under 3 minutes.
Yeah, I think if you're Houston, you really want to bleed this thing as slowly as you can. Don't let him in the end zone right now. Compacted field.
Cincinnati with 1 timeout and the 2-minute warning. Going for the end zone. Dalton throws it to nobody.
Disconnect between he and A.J. Green. Green ran the hitch. Dalton threw the hitch and go.
Now with 2:37 showing.
Interesting, when we talked to Dalton and Green yesterday, asked them whether or not they had a chance during the lockout to work out together. They said no. They didn't even meet each other officially till the first day of training camp. Whoa. Good job by Nate Livings making sure the refs throw the flag. Barwin jumped.
Neutral zone infraction. Defense, number 98, unabated to the quarterback. It's a 5-yard penalty, still second down.
How about Connor Barwin with 11.5 sacks? The kid was a tight end and a basketball player at Cincinnati. Mario Williams goes down. And by the way, Mario Williams had 5 sacks before he went down, so they had 16.5 sacks from that outside rush linebacker position. And Connor Barwin has grown up this year.
Place the ball now at the 9. Dalton had some steam on that one, incomplete. Andre Hawkins, the intended receiver, covered closely by McCain.
And McCain plays the slot in their dime defense. This is a team that is either in base personnel or dime. And when they come in with the 6 defensive backs, McCain's on the slot, and Brian Cushing is the only linebacker left in the game. And obviously, Tom, that's a tribute to his athleticism.
Now 3rd down. Dalton's pass batted right back in his face. That's Earl Mitchell, had a sack earlier and now knocks that pass down.
They are rocking and rolling. Here's Mitchell, 4-man rush. Gets good push up the middle. Eyes on the quarterback, really good vision to get your hands up. And too many defensive linemen are unaware, A, of the position of the quarterback, and B, when and where he's going to throw it. Great job by Mitchell.
Now it's 4th down. Mario Williams watching from the sideline. Injured.
Confusion. They didn't have 7 men on the line of scrimmage. Wide receivers were jumping on and off and I give Dalton credit. This is the last shot. Take time out, make sure you get it right.
It is, however, their last timeout.
Watch what happens with the receivers. These 2 guys are going to talk to each other. Who's on the line of scrimmage? Are you up or am I up? Wait a minute. What am I doing over here? Am I up or you up? Dalton looked around and said, way too much confusion. Let's get it right.
So coming up next, it'll be the Saints playing at home against the Lions. The Lions rejuvenating their football hopes and returning to the playoffs. Matt Stafford, Calvin Johnson, you called them dangerous.
Yep.
Dangerous enough to win at the Superdome?
They're dangerous on both sides of the line of scrimmage, especially with Sue and Farrelly in the game tonight. Remember, the first time they played, Sue was on that 2-game suspension. So it could be a little bit of a track meet, but if they can get Drew Brees off his point, they got a shot.
For the Bengals, 4th down. Andy Dalton throwing for the end zone, and the pass is deflected, incomplete, intended for A.J. Green. Jonathan Joseph, the former Bengals, deflects it to the ground, and the Texans take over.
What a sweet cap to the season of Jonathan Joseph. Going to the Pro Bowl, AP, 2nd team All-Pro, signed a big deal last year after he wanted to return to Cincinnati. Told us the other day Cincinnati didn't match the guaranteed money offer, even though he wanted to return. And I think, Tom, that just kind of caps off a huge season so far for Jonathan Joseph.
So from the 10-yard line, Texans take over. 2:23. Dancing around is Ben Tate for a couple of yards. Gary Kubiak about to get his first playoff win, and in their first playoff appearances since 1970. These are the teams that won their first game, including the Ravens, who won the Super Bowl. As the clock stops at the 2-minute warning, 31-10. Marvin Lewis about to drop to 0-3 in his playoff career. Exciting to come back to the Bengals as their coach this year, and it's been bittersweet. They were able to get into the playoffs, but about to lose to the Houston Texans in their first round game, the wild card game, as Andy Dalton will have something to build on, as will A.J. Green in their outstanding rookie seasons. Meanwhile, Jonathan Joseph, who came from the Bengals as a free agent to the Texans, telling how he did it, as the first playoff game in Houston Texans history is about to go into the win column. Cincinnati cannot stop the clock. And that'll do it. Ben Tate picks up a first down.
Hey, Tom, let me just dot the I on this Houston defense real quickly. A.J. Green, 5 catches for 47. Cedric Benson, 7 carries for 14 yards. And they held Cincinnati scoreless in the last 34 minutes. That's a triumph for a total team effort, but it is generated by that defense.
And as they travel to Baltimore, will there be any points scored between those two?
Hey, I'll tell you, Arian Foster, one of the top tailbacks in the league. Ray Rice, one of the top tailbacks in the league. They both know how to stop the run. I'm going to love watching that game almost as much as the one tonight.
Andre Johnson wondering if he would ever get to play in a playoff game. In his 9th season, a 5-time Pro Bowler got his chance today, had a touchdown catch, and now can celebrate a playoff win. Gary Kubiak and Andy Dalton exchanging pleasantries, and T.J. Yates, rookie quarterback, number 3 on the depth chart as the season started. Mike said, figured to wear a baseball cap all season long. J.J. Watt you saw there for a moment, and Arian Foster, both heroes for the Houston Texans in this playoff win.